Not tale of vengeance, it is not. Kratos for what kneels in legacy is Spartan a ash, his script rage a names him cloak a curse inherited, never shed. Atreus knocks an arrow steady, silent, his name unspoken, though the wind whispers it. Odin's vagabond cloak billows, a shadow between destinies. The prophecy burns in the air unread, not tale of vengeance forgotten, rejected, his script rage a names him cloak a curse. The name Loki is a brand seared into the frost of Jotun memory. Fate chose Atreus to erase the taint. The boy walks two realmsmen and Mythic refuses to turn the page. Why? The prophecy's ink is sharp, a blade waiting to split syllables into screams. To read it is to claim the throne of chaos, to admit the blood in his veins is not a mistake. The cosmos bends, watching. Every lie of peace Kratos built crumbles when a son's name becomes a weapon. What does it mean to disown the legacy etched into your bones? Atreus lets the parchment rot, let the Jotun hiss their truths, let the gods gnash their teeth. He is not the shadow of a wolf. He is the wolf choosing not to howl. What price does silence demand? Blood bought Kratos his first kingdom. Ares whispered in his blade's tongue, promised him gods as dust. The blood price was a chain forged in the boy's screams. Odin, meanwhile, drowned his eye in Mimir's well, but the water he drank was not wisdom. It was leverage. A prophecy bent to his blade, rewritten between the lines of his son's fate. Both men climbed by erasure, one by silencing his past, the other by erasing his heir's future. Atreus walks the same path. The prophecy's ink stains his hands. He has read it. He knows the name that curls in its margins like a serpent's shadow, a name that once split the 9 realms in two, but he turns the page. And turns it again. The words do not vanish, they fester. The Norns wove this silence into his breath. Every unspoken syllable is a thread pulled taut in Yggdrasil's roots. Odin's shadow lingers in this refusal. The All-Father did not merely sacrifice an eye, stole his son's right to know the truth. Now Atreus repeats the theft. Not with a dagger, but with averted gaze. The curse is not the name itself. It is the weight of knowing and choosing to carry it alone. To let the storm in his bones harden into a shell. Kratos' fury was a flood. Atreus' denial is a drought. Both are weapons. The elder father's pact with Ares was a spark. The younger father's silence is a smoldering hearth. The cycle does not end in victory. It ends in ash. What becomes of a boy who buries his destiny? A god, a monster, a question the cosmos dares not answer. The well still whispers, the blade still waits. And the boy who refused to howl has become the storm. Blood bought Kratos his first kingdom. Ares whispered in his blade's tongue, promised him gods as dust. The blood price was a chain forged in the boy's screams. Odin, meanwhile, drowned his eye in Mimir's well. The water he drank was not wisdom. It was leverage. A prophecy bent to his blade, rewritten between the lines of his son's fate. Both men climbed by erasure, one by silencing his past, the other by erasing his heir's future. Atreus walks the same path. The prophecy's ink stains his hands. He has read it. He knows the name that curls in its margins like a serpent's shadow, a name that once split the 9 realms in two, but he turns the page. And turns it again. The words do not vanish, they fester. The Norns wove this silence into his breath. Every unspoken syllable is a thread pulled taut in Yggdrasil's roots. Odin's shadow lingers in this refusal. The All-Father did not merely sacrifice an eye, stole his son's right to know the truth. Now Atreus repeats the theft. Not with a dagger, but with averted gaze. The curse is not the name itself. It is the weight of knowing and choosing to carry it alone. To let the storm in his bones harden into a shell. Kratos' fury was a flood. Atreus' denial is a drought. Both are weapons. The elder father's pact with Ares was a spark. The younger father's silence is a smoldering hearth. The cycle does not end in victory. It ends in ash. What becomes of a boy who buries his destiny? A god, a monster, a question the cosmos dares not answer. The well still whispers, the blade still waits. And the boy who refused to howl has become the storm. The well of secrets writhles under Atreus' palm. Its ink-black waters churn, screaming the name he will not speak. Odin's voice coils in the steam *, child of Loki, bringer of ash *, but the boy steps back. His boots crack the temple floor. The cosmos holds its breath. He knows the truth, the runes do not lie. His blood hums with a dirge older than Yggdrasil's roots, but he turns his face from the fire. The prophecy's curse is a noose, he spits on the rope. Odin's illusions fracture. The Allfather's mask slips a snarl, a red beard frothing with lies. Asterisk, you will burn the 9 realms. Asterisk, the ghost hisses. Asterisk, you will drown in your father's shadow. Asterisk, Atreus' fingers clench around the haft of his axe. A blade meant to split worlds, the storm outside rages. Thunder echoes Mjolnir's hammer. Kratos elsewhere rejects a throne of bones. 2 suns, 2 thrones, one of iron, one of ash. Both choices ignite the sky. Atreus' breath fogs the air, he could howl. The words are there, waiting. Asterisk, Loki, Loki, cursed seed. Asterisk, but his tongue is stone. The well's whispers sharpen to a scream. It wants its due, it wants his name. He walks away, the prophecy's curse festers in the silence. Odin's laughter follows, a rot in the walls. The boy's defiance is a wound in fate's tapestry. Threads unravel, rage is his inheritance, not his destiny. He will not become the wolf the cosmos fears, but the realms tremble anyway. The curse does not care for his pride. The Leviathan axe trembles in his grip. Its edge glistens with something older than frost. The storm above darkens. The throne Kratos abandoned bleeds shadow into the snow. Atreus' choice is a spark. It will ignite forests. It will drown stars. He does not look back. The well's curse seethes behind him, a name unspoken, a storm unborn. The cosmos shifts, the blade waits, and the boy who refused to howl becomes the lightning. Silence is a name world burning. Atreus walks the path, storm Baldur's breath frozen in his wake. The name he buries becomes the frost that cracks the sky. The storm wakes, the boy's shadow stretches grief's weight, a crown of ash. His father's legacy, consumed by the howl he refused to hear. The storm wakes, snow turns to blood. Asgard's fall was not an ending, but a fracture. Odin's blade lies buried in the ice where he fell. His sacrifice unmoored the cosmos. Thor's last breath fractured the bifrosted chain of stars, snapped like a twig. Did he think silence could sever fate? Atreus carries the wolf pelt, its teeth still glistening with Baldur's final scream. The sun dies in winter's grip, no thaw comes. Fimbulwinter's breath freezes rivers, cracks kingdoms, turns brothers to ghosts. Kratos' rage carves new gods from old bones, but the boy watches, hands steady, eyes hollow. The prophecy's ink bleeds through his fingertips, unread. Its curse is not in the words, but the knowing. Loki's name is a dirge in the void. Atreus hums it anyway, a hymn of defiance. The Pantheon's war scours the earth. Mortals burn not for sins, but for standing between axioms colliding. A child's laughter echoes through Ash Mimir's headless whisper. Heimdall's blind vigil, Freya's empty arms, all fuel the fire. The boy's shadow stretches, a crown of ash. His father's legacy is not in the throne, but the wound, and wounds do not heal, they remember. The cycle breathes, the storm wakes. The cape still bleeds crimson in memory. Tattered edges flap like the wings of a bird that forgot how to fly. Kratos walks, but the earth no longer shakes beneath his steps. Once his blades carved hymns into the bones of gods. Now his hands grip nothing but air. Cape his shadow clings to him like hollow a echo of the second Spartan whose skin raised Olympus. Cape his shadow clings to him like hollow a echo of the second Spartan whose skin, though its red has faded to the color of dried blood, it is not armor anymore. It is a banner for a war that ended before he could name it. The boy watches him from a distance. His bow, carved from the ash of a fallen world, gleams too brightly in his grip. He does not draw it, not yet. But the Jotun know his face. They whisper asterisk Loki asterisk when they think he cannot hear. They see the flicker in his eyes, the way his voice sharpens into something not quite his own. Atreus turns away, let them whisper, let the mountains remember. The prophecy lies in a scroll of wolf hide, inked in a language that melts like snow when he looks too long. He has traced the symbols once. The meaning seeped into his dream's flame, betrayal, a crown of ice. He stopped there. The scroll remains unopened in his pack, its weight a silent pact with ignorance. Kratos would have burned it, Kratos would have called it fate, but Kratos is not here. He walks ahead, a figure carved from regret, his legacy a curse woven into the fabric of the cape. Atreus tightens his grip on the bow. The Jotun call him a trickster, but he is no jester. He is the arrow aimed at a storm he refuses to name. The prophecy's unspoken words hang between them like a blade. To read it would be to claim the title the Jotun have already given him. To ignore it is to let the past bleed into the future, unchallenged. What kind of god does that make him? What kind of son? The wind carries the scent of pine and iron. Somewhere a wolf howls, the cape flaps, the bow remains still. The cycle does not ask for consent. It only asks to be carried, and the boy walks, and the father walks, and the storm behind them grows. The road does not end, it only bends. Kratos walks it now, teaching his son the cost of Chainchi's own blood the lesson. Atreus carries the scroll, sealed with a name he will not speak. Loki's shadow curls in the ink, a fate the boy refuses to meet. The father warns of gods who break their children. The son ignores the script. A storm brews behind them, silent as a promise. The curse does not demand obedience, it waits. Atreus knows the words, they burn his hands, whisper of chaos, of a brotherhood of fire. But he turns the page blank. Kratos sees the hesitation, asks no questions. The past is a wound he will not reopen. What legacy survives when the heir rejects the tomb? Atreus walks forward, a king without a crown. The prophecy hangs unfulfilled. A curse is a mirror and he will not look, yet the storm grows, it knows its name. It knows the boys, does silence outrun destiny? The path does not answer, only the storm. Only the father who walks it, teaching a son to outrun gods, but the boy's shadow stretches long. It bears another's face. The mirror shows sons shaped by blades. Kratos, a weapon without a master. Zeus, a god with no remorse. One broke chains, the other forged them. Treads blind, runes Baldur's name is whisper of a prince hymn. Atreus is a hex sea, one crowned in light. The other wore a carved boy who path bends but does not break. Runes Baldur's name is whisper of a prince him who falls not by sword, sees silence. Odin's hands are stained with truths he buried. Tyr's hands are bound for speaking them. The All-Father twists fate like a spindle. The one-handed god pays the thread's price. Atreus knows the name the prophecy refuses. Loki, not in letters but in legacy. A boy who turns his back on a fate that turns all men to ash. What does he fear? The mirror's reflection, or what it promises? The curse is not in the name. The curse is in the refusal to claim it. To let the storm rage, to let the lie of Loki rot unspoken. A father's blood-bought truth, a son's silence becomes its grave. What does the mirror show when the prophecy is unread? A cycle unbroken, a boy who becomes the monster he denies. The price is not in the destiny. It is in the defiance. How many gods can a child outrun before the shadow claims him? The wind howls through Asgard's broken spires, a hymn of frost and fury. Fimbulwinter's breath turns shadow to ice, yet the flames in the cursed mirror burn blue. Atreus stands before it, his reflection warped by a fire that does not warm. The prophecy's voice is a whisper in ash. Asterisk Loki's fate is his own to claim. Asterisk his fingers hover, trembling above the glass. The mirror's surface shivers not from his touch, but from the weight of names unspoken. Behind him, Kratos' warhammer rests against a pillar, its runes dark with silence. The father watches but does not intervene. The son turns away. Snowflakes pool at Atreus' feet, melting where the mirror's light spills. The flames writhe, spelling asterisk Loki asterisk in tongues of sulfur. He looks down. The name is not on the glass, it is in his eyes. The cold seeps into his bones, but he does not flinch. The gods above stir in their thrones, sensing the fracture. A boy who denies his shadow is no rebel. He is a riddle the cosmos cannot solve. The mirror's fire dims, leaving only a smudge of soot. Atreus leaves it there. Let the prophecy blacken, let the gods guess. The frost does not lie. In every storm, in every blade of Yggdrasil, the curse hums. A name unclaimed is a debt unpaid. The Fimbulwinter will end. When the sun returns, it will find a boy or a god. The mirror cracks. The prophecy's truth is not in the words, it is in the silence between them. The cold stays, the fire stays, the fate stays, and the shadow. It lengthens. What happens when a god ignores his own prophecy? Kratos buried his past in blood. Atreus buries his future in silence. The name he refuses to speak, a curse etched in the bones of the world. To acknowledge is to accept, to ignore is to defy. Either way, the cosmos pays the price. Will the boy rewrite his fate, or become the shadow he fears? The answer lies in the next dot.